Hey, what's good, guys? It's Aurelius here, and one thing you gotta know about me is I love to complain. I love to complain, but I hate being justified to complain. I'm complaining specifically about where the economy is right now, and about why people in Gen Z and millennials are just struggling, struggling more than you would ever believe. This is mostly because, yes, people are buying up houses, inflation's going up, all these other problems are happening. But the fact is that the fact that the Biden administration is fixing a lot of this and nothing's changing says a lot. You can say, "Oh yeah, Biden's bad. This, and this." He's been doing things to combat inflation. I work at a grocery store. I know this pretty well. Like I see these prices, like they go up a little bit, and then over time with Biden's policy, they kind of just go down occasionally. And there's another thing with like gas. Gas isn't as insane as it was before. Given I don't even have a car, but gas isn't as insane as it was before months ago when things were really crazy. But now it kind of is. Specifically for me, I'm not doxing everything about myself. I live in Texas, though, okay? It's one thing you gotta know. And the fact that this economy is so bad that I have considered to moving to Ohio says enough. So, for background, guys, rent has gone up more than 50% since the 2000s, and the minimum wage is not correlated with it. The supply demand model doesn't work when the supply is manipulated and therefore the demand is exaggerated. And this is where we're at. Is people are investing in real estate. People are selling real estate. Real estate is a legitimate business, yes. But the fact that people are doing what they're doing with real estate and making houses commodities is insane. I know this talking point is brought up like a lot. I know people might think, "Oh yeah, it's fucking lame. Just get, just get less. Just settle for less." And that's true. There are tiny homes that go for 50K. I would be pretty happy living in one of those. I wouldn't give a fuck. I'm not prioritizing raising family, anything right now. What I realistically want is to move out because my mom's kind of been struggling. I've been giving her money. She makes a decent. She makes a damn good amount of money though. She's just very impulsive and has a lot of mental problems and doesn't want help with them. It's kind of why I'm the way I am. But I try to level things out with myself, plan things out. I contact local apartments, and they're saying I need about 2.5, maybe 3 times the income. I make about two times the average apartment price here, but that's not including utilities and all these other things. Car loans, like it's just once I get to driving, once I get to learn how to drive and all these other things, I would still barely be scraping by, even if I were to be working at Walmart or Amazon, which are both my kinds of jobs. Right now, I'm just working at Walmart. I would realistically work at Amazon, the 3 12-hour shifts, and maybe work at Walmart part time and have 52 hours a week without dealing with any drama with the laundry or the kitchen, because that is a thing with where I live with my mom, because it is. Okay? And I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm putting that out. I'm actually not. Okay? I'm putting that on the internet just for more background as to why I felt useless in life. I recently just got access to government ID, so I can try some things. I could try to set up LLCs, start vending machine businesses, maybe make a clothing brand, possibly putting up more content. That's why I'm making this video in the first place. And yeah, Twitch streaming. Another thing that's a piece of drama in my personal life is not having Wi-Fi at home. I legitimately have to go out of the comfort of my own home to have Wi-Fi, and it's these apartments that I'm living in are some of the most like expensive in the area because my mom basically chose it. I'm forced to live here and all this other stuff. It's very hard to navigate through life with these issues, but it's also very hard to navigate through life if I were to be approved for an apartment. Let's say it's a shitty apartment, some of the utilities don't work. It's a very similar situation, and it's a bad situation to be in. Or let's say this. Let's say I try to move to Ohio with all of their issues. We all know these issues. We all know Ohio's Ohio, that'll never change. But the rent there is insanely low, And a lot of the jobs that have stagnant wages throughout the United States, such as Amazon and Walmart, are great. They're back end retail. They're the types of jobs that I can always rely on when it comes to entry level jobs, at least from a worker's perspective. And that does say a lot because a lot of people do have problems with how Amazon employs and works through all of its policy. And it is crazy. The TOT, all the other stuff. There's some stuff that's borderline immoral, but overall, it is a way more sustainable job than a lot of the other jobs that we have at entry level in the market. Um, I was also thinking about possibly getting into sales. It's just very hard to get into that. It's very hard without a network or anything. So it's something I can personally build up. But I think you're starting to see a trend here where there are a lot of things that I can do. There are a lot of things I can tap into, and there are a lot of ways that I can try to get out of this. But the biggest issue right now is without education, it is very difficult. But then you would have to either take on loans that would take 20 to 30 years to pay off, excluding, rent and stagnant expenses. And it's a snowball effect where, okay, you want to upsize, put all this money to the side, you're taking years to pay that off. It'll happen, but it's taking years for you to pay that off. You're gonna have to buy your freedom, indentured servitude type shit. Okay, so we're talking about the housing market. We're talking about issues with apartments. We're talking about how some people who can still buy apartments don't get approved. No matter how much discipline you do have with your personal expenses, it does make sense on, you know, on like a basic level because you have realistically car loans for most people. You have other loans. People are taking out affirm loans for a lot of shit that they don't need. This is not like a decent computer that they need for streaming. This is just getting things that they want from affirm loans. So this is a big discipline problem and a skill issue for my generation. But even at that point, it's still not contributing as highly as your basic needs and expenses because you have that loan. You probably ideally want to put 33% towards saving, and that's most likely why they have that 3 times or 2.5 times the income models, so that people can stably save and take upon loans and exist within this system. And it's a big problem because you're paying for more things so that you can pay for more things over time. This is way different than how the boomer generation had it within their adolescence. You can move out at the age of 18 working part-time or full-time at McDonald's in the 60s so long as you're white, straight, and you're treated well at the time. Because we all know human rights problems were a thing in the 60s, but the economy was better, objectively. And it was the perfect situation for specific groups of people to amass way more generational wealth just because of how good that economy was, just because of how they upheld basic values and tenets of capitalism that is being lost within the modern day, and it's becoming similar to an oligarchy. There are still people who can start up enterprises that can make it, but it's a problem when that group is such a small percentage. It is such a small percentage of the population. And it makes me think about a bunch of other things. Possibly male escorting, possibly having that as a side hustle while still working full time. It's insane as to how difficult it is right now to pick yourself up in this economy because of everything getting more expensive. It's just, it makes me shiver because I'm thinking about what I can try to do in my future, and the options are very limited. I realistically don't think I would want a family, but a lot of people who do are existing within what we are living in right now. It's insane. It's insane because you either have to move and take the initiative to take that risk and go somewhere where there are a lot of chemical problems and no one wants to go there because the economy is mostly dead and dry, but you have to in order to try to lower your expenses, or you just have to exist where you are. You're moving away from your family, your community, all that other stuff, and it's definitely the play for me when I think about it. But it's just it's very it's very bad. It's very inoptimal to try to do these things. Now, guys, what I would say by now is if you've watched the video so far, comment garbage economy in the comments. All right? Just let me know that you saw this through to the end, and I appreciate that. I would also recommend that you like and subscribe and maybe share the video to your mother because maybe she just needs to know why you're acting way more moody than way more moody than like most of adolescents and teens were throughout all of history, because there are a bunch of contributing factors. People are struggling, people are hurting, and I guess that should be known by the community and by the people that you're around. So, yeah, catch y'all later. Doo-doo!